In Brussels, a manhunt is on for two suspects from the terrorist attacks, for the man in white from the airport and a second suspected metro bomber. This as police raid homes in new searches. And the Paris terrorist suspect now refuses to cooperate. CCTV's Kate Parkinson is live in Brussels with more. Kate.
Well, yes, we've had some new information today about Salah Abdeslam. He was previously Europe's most wanted man. He was arrested just days before the terror attacks here in Brussels. Now, initially he had been cooperating with investigators. We had been told that he had admitted that he had been involved in planning further attacks in Brussels, but all that appears to have changed now. His lawyer said that on Tuesday, when he was visited by investigators following the Brussels attacks, he didn't want to answer any questions. He said he didn't know about the plans to attack an airport and a train station in Brussels. That's despite the fact that there are very clear links between him and the individuals who carried out the attacks here in Brussels. Another development in the case of Salah Abdeslam, his lawyer said today that his client will no longer be fighting his extradition to France. He, of course, is wanted in France for questioning over the November attacks. Let's have a listen to what his lawyer had to say.
The fact is, he wants to go back and go to France as fast as possible. I think that only a small part of the case is here in Brussels. So I think he wants to explain himself in France, and that's a good thing.
This is a big turnaround. Immediately after his arrest, we were told that he would be fighting his extradition. That could have delayed his move to France by months, but now he's not blocking that. Things could move very quickly, and it does seem that this decision is straight off the back of these Brussels attacks. Of course, the investigators here in Brussels are also wanting to speak to him. He's certainly a wanted man in both countries. Meanwhile, police here in Brussels are still looking for some key suspects involved in the Tuesday attacks, including the so-called man in white. We've seen his picture at the airport. He supposedly wheeled explosives into the airport before fleeing the scene. He is still on the run. And we've heard news today of a possible second bomber involved in the metro attacks. He may also be on the loose. So two very key suspects that authorities here in Brussels want to catch, despite the fact that they are still on the run. The authorities have announced that they are reducing the country's terror threat by one level. So it's no longer at the maximum, which means there is a very real danger of an imminent attack. They have brought that down by one level. That news coming in just in the past hour.
Kate, we just still see a lot of people behind you paying tribute to the victims. What more are we learning about the victims, and how's the search for those that are still missing?
Well, we don't have any official announcement of the 31 people who were killed. We certainly haven't been officially told their names. The authorities are asking for patience. They say they need time to identify all the victims, partly, they say, because of the bad condition that some of the bodies are in, which certainly only adds to the distress of the victims' families. And there are still many people who are unaccounted for, and we're seeing friends and families posting pictures on social media, desperately looking for people who are still missing following the attacks. So still a lot of people in pain, not knowing what has happened to their loved ones, not having all the answers. And again, this just really adds to the anxiety and the distress of many people here in Brussels.
All right, CCTV's Kate Parkinson live for us in Brussels.